Hello, 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 hello. Perfect. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello.
So instead of getting
Don't tell you something, do it first. Every opportunity that we have seen, we make that mistake that time we wrong way. Have you tried to
It's an exciting or an important time to meet with other people. And welcome to Entrepreneurs of Every Kind events. If you are joining us for the first time, Entrepreneurs of Every Kind is a monthly event where social impact leaders, bold leaders like yourself, innovators, change makers, come together for an evening conversation to learn, relearn, unwind, and get to engage with people. My name is Benita Izumezu. For those of you who do not know me, I work with Impact Hub Abuja, and it's always a pleasure to have this evening every month. So, before we do a little bit of introduction about today's topic, I would like us to do, before that, please, if you're sitting at the back, can you move to the front? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so we will do introduction about ourselves. And the introduction will go in this way. Your name, what you currently do, and when you hear the word social impact or social enterprise, what comes to mind? So your name, what you currently do, and then when you hear the word social impact, social enterprise, what comes to mind? So I'll start passing the mic from here. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer. Just make it fun, please. Okay, so you know what? I would allow you guys volunteer to respond, but there's no right or wrong answer. At least running or moving out, it will not change anything. I mean, I don't understand. We're not. Is your name what you do? Apparently, what social impact means to you? It's just to make it fun. It could mean anything. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello, good day, everyone. My name is David Fine Country Austin Ogbadu. Okay, what is social impact?
What do you do currently?
Okay, I'm a creative artist and thespian. I sing, I write, I act, I direct, theater, film, literature. So, what social impact means to me as a creative artist is that with my art, I'm able to profess solutions, and I'm also able to educate my readers, my listeners, and my audiences through my art, and that's social impact. That's what I want to do. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Please, let's clap for him. Thank you so much. So you can pass the mic to anybody that is interested. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is David Omole. I'm a creative writer. So what social impact mean to me is how do I use my writing skill to identify a problem in my community so that they can get the deserved solution that they need.
Oh, thank you very much. Please, let's clap for him. So I have these rules, and which is always do not be stingy with your clap. So when somebody takes the mic and stand up to introduce themselves, please, it's always important that we appreciate them. So please, let's clap for him. Thank you very much. All right.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. I am Aminu Ahmed Mamagi, a communication professional, an advocate, and also an entrepreneur. So to me, social impact simply means making an impact as an individual or group with what you do to your community or immediate society.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, let's clap for him. Thank you. You don't have to stand up, please. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Olani Samiayomide. Currently a student of the University of Abuja, a development communicator. As a development communicator, when I hear social impact, it means what can I do? We have a positive and sustainable impact in the society.
Wow. Thank you. We're forgetting our rules. Thank you.
Okay.
Alright.
Hi, everyone.
The running away man.
No.
I will tag you that.
Now they give me.
I will tag you that.
No. All right. My name is Manji
Okay.
Wedben. Yeah. So I'm a singer, and
Okay.
I'm a political scientist.
Mm.
Yeah. So, what social impact means to me, I see it as an effect or influence that I have over my community or over my terrain. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Hi. Good evening. Thank you. Please let's clap. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Omolade Ademili, and I run an organization called Intern Academy. For me, social impact means recognizing a problem and deciding to solve it, create solutions for that. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Please, one house. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Abraham Tisgang. I'm a medical laboratory scientist, and social impact to me means change by a person for a people. So using my skills for good, probably like outreaches to people that don't have access to healthcare. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Alhaji Bakari Momodu. I work with National Assembly. I'm a humanitarian service provider, and I try to, my focus and my aim and my goal is to create a space to develop the community by all standards through whatever I find myself doing. And that's what social impact means to me. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Arigbe Shagun Abraham. I'm a media personnel and a storyteller. For me, social impact is contributions to making sure that the society where we find ourselves, community, villages, nation, continents, get improved on daily basis, so everybody can live in a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Onyekachi Kingsley. I'm a travel consultant and also a climate change advocate. For me, social impact is doing what you can to help better the environment, to help better the people around you, and to also help better people who come across you. So, giving people's life a meaning, those you can, part-time, as you can.
Good evening, everyone. Please, let's clap for him now. We didn't clap for him. How about? Good evening again. My name is Kelvin Ebuka. I'm a visual designer. In a layman's language, graphics designer. I'm a web designer. I'm also a printer. For me, social impact is simply helping a community solve a specific problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, we've all said it right. And trust me, I don't think I could agree any less. We've all said it right. Social impact is about contributing to society, solving problems, finding solutions, doing good, using your skills to contribute to or to solve a problem, And yes, so we've all said it right, so I can't agree any less. So thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution. Without further ado, we would be moving to the very next session, which is definitely going to be the panel session, so that we can have enough engagement. And we have 4 amazing speakers that have been in this field for over a decade. And they will take us through the journey of starting a social impact organization or a social enterprise organization. But before then, when we hear social enterprise, does something ring? Anybody can share, 1 or 2 people. What is the first thing that comes to mind? Social enterprise. Do you think there's a difference between social enterprise and NGO? Or do you think there's any difference? Is there a difference between social enterprise and non-profits? When you hear the word social enterprise, what comes to mind? One, 2 people can share.
Social enterprise, you make the money, you put it back. NGO, Babiala.
Very simple and direct. NGO, they are givers. But social enterprise, you're making the money and then you're putting it back. But there's a common goal. What's a common goal? Impact. Thank you very much. That's a common goal. So whether you're using money, you're using it for profit, or you're doing Bambiala, like one of our speakers have said, they are both for what? The goal is impact. Okay, so I think before we move further, so that we go deep into the conversation, please listen, learn, connect, engage, because you're going to learn a lot of what it means, of what social good means. I mean, the business of social enterprise, and how you can actually leverage your learnings, your opportunities, your ideas, your skills, your talents to actually build something that is impactful to not just to yourself, also to your community. At this point, I'll be handing over the mic to Ms. Foye, who will be taking up the next session. Thank you very much.
I have 3 exceptional individuals that I will be introducing shortly. But before I introduce them, I think it's only proper that I also introduce myself. Again, I'm Mofoyeke Omole, but you can call me Foye. Everyone calls me Foye. I am the Executive Director of Tri-Bridge Initiative for Social Development. We work at the intersection of digital transformation and leadership, focusing specifically on unemployed graduates, female unemployed graduates. We equip them with skills, knowledge needed to thrive, start a business, whether it's for-profit business or social enterprise. And then I am also, I think that's why I'm here tonight, I'm also a certified management consultant, and I have about 15 years experience in human capital development. So tonight we're going to be having beautiful conversation. I want us to have it at the back of our minds that the goal tonight is for us to be able to live here and see the possibility of starting an enterprise that thrives, that is profitable, and that provides impact to the community. So as we learn today, I just want you to have that at the back of your minds. Like I said, I have 3 exceptional individuals to introduce. Their profile is so amazing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read the CVs or the profile that they have shared, but I'm going to summarize and then give them a chance to also, in a minute or 2, introduce themselves. So starting off, I will be introducing Sarah Adekunle-James. She's a social impact consultant, a trade facilitation analyst, with over a decade experience driving sustainable development across West Africa. As a founder and managing director at Nolton, Africa, she has raised over 200 million for non-profits, managed a 4 million euro EU-funded project, and trained over 700 social entrepreneurs. She holds an LLB from the University of Lagos, an MBA with Nexford University, and is currently pursuing a PhD in public policy. Sarah here is a sought-after speaker on social innovation, development funding, and Africa's economic transformation. Now, all of the applause that you have given her, that was for you. Now, let's celebrate her being here. You're welcome, Sarah. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I am also going to be introducing Oyewole Joledo. Did I pronounce that well? I hope I did. Oyewole is a social entrepreneur and ecosystem builder working at the intersection of education, technology, and youth development. He is the country director of SocialGood Fund Nigeria and founder of SocialGood Group of companies. He has trained over 1,000 young Nigerians in high-demand digital skills and built a talent pool of 7,000 professionals. He's a Mandela Washington Fellow, a Nigeria Service Award winner for Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and one of the 100 most influential young people in Africa. So let's welcome Oyewole. Is he here? Okay, he's going to join us shortly. And joining us on this stage is Rita Ezenwa-Okoro. She is a creative culturist and performance activist who uses play and the performance arts as tool for leadership development. She is the founder of Street Project Foundation, a UN award-winning organization that has empowered over 10,000 young people. And she's the executive director of the Global Play Brigade, a Mandela Washington Fellow, 3-time ISPA Global Fellow, and the first Nigerian on the ISPA board. Rita is also a speaker, a published author with a new book due in 2026. So let's give it up to Rita. So now let's get into the business of the day. Oh, yes. I've introduced you in your absence. So should I go over his profile again or we just welcome him? Okay, so, okay. So let me introduce again. Just give me a moment to pull up his very esteemed profile. Mr. Oyewole Joledo. Did I pronounce that well?
Yes, you did.
Okay, yeah. He's a social entrepreneur and ecosystem builder working at the intersection of education, technology, and youth development. He is the country director of SocialGood Fund Nigeria and founder of SocialGood Group of companies. He has trained over 1,000 young Nigerians in high-demand digital skills and built a talent pool of 7,000 professionals. He's a Mandela Washington Fellow, a Nigeria Service Award winner for Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and one of the 100 most influential young people in Africa. So let's give it up to him. Like I said in my introduction, this is just a snippet of what I could gain from their bio that I saw. I'm going to give you guys a minute to introduce yourselves. And then we're doing this session just because it's good for us to learn how to pitch ourselves. So I'm saying that you pitch yourself, not like you have anything to sell to them right now, like that, but for us to also be able to learn that if I ask you, who are you? I mean, to the audience, they are able to say, this is who I am in not so many words. So I'm going to start from my far right and then all the way here. So let's, in a minute, just introduce yourself, what you do.
I was hiding.
There's no hiding place on this stage. So let's go.
Hi everyone. I'm Rita Ezenwa-Okoro. And I work at the intersection of play, leadership, and the creative economy. And I do that through the Street Project Foundation, which uses creative arts to facilitate youth leadership development, social mobilization, and cross-cultural dialogue. Largely, I'm concerned about creating spaces and environments where young people can think beyond the inherited systems that have created the problems that they live in. I do that by creating ecosystems like the arts advocacy movement through the Street Project Foundation, where our vision is to raise 1 million youths by 2030 who use their imagination to think beyond the problems that have, to think beyond the systems that have created the problems that we live in today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rita. Sarah, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Sarah Adekunle-James. I solve problems for a living. This is my short intro. I solve problems for a living, and I love it. Right? I lead a management consulting firm and transformation studio in Africa, where we solve complex challenges by building, transforming, strengthening social impact organizations, social enterprises through strategy, technology, innovation, and disciplined execution. We also work at the intersection of health, education, private support, and institutional transformation. At the core of what we do, at the core of what I do through Nolton Africa, is strengthening social organizations. Without solid institutions, it will not matter the amount of funding capital that comes into, yes, it wouldn't matter the amount of capital funding that comes into the continent, but with solid institutions, we will be able to even leverage and get more capital. So we're building solid institutions to be able to deliver the change that we want in Africa. Thank you very much.
Now to you, Oyewole.
Okay, so great. She ended with capital. So I'm Oyewole. I try to mobilize capital for Africa's development. Our SocialGood Fund, we fund some of the biggest, boldest, and brightest ideas in Africa. So think about VUCA problems that exist in Africa. We create those solutions, but we also fund and build those solutions. We also de-risk those firms so that international and local organizations can fund those firms. So usually I don't like to introduce myself with the fund. I'll just say SocialGood, but really we fund some of Africa's most brightest solutions across the continent. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe you can all see we can sense the quality of conversation we're going to be having tonight, from knowing what to start, to also connecting with someone that can help you to fund what you start, and to also connect with someone who has been helping other organizations to also raise money. So we have it all tonight, and we're going to be talking about that. But what I can get from all of our profile here is the fact that we have hands-on experience in social entrepreneurship. We run our own store. I'm also sure that for some of us, before we even got into running our own stuff, we worked in some places to, get the understanding that we have, and that gave us leverage to start what we're doing. But everyone's story is different. What pushed you into social entrepreneurship as against for-profit entrepreneurship is different for everyone. So tonight, we just want to hear what moved you into this world, because social entrepreneurship is a different world entirely. You're trying to stay afloat, and at the same time, you're trying to make impact, as against just trying to make profit. So what's your story? How did you get in here? I think we should just start with that first, and then we build on that conversation. So this time I'm going to start with Oyewole. What got you into social entrepreneurship, and then?
Okay, so hello everyone. So I'll be as realistic as possible because we are youths and we just want to have a conversation. You could be the person sitting out here teaching me the same thing. To be frank, nobody, for me, I did not start wanting to be a social entrepreneur, nothing like that. I came back from the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I'd done 10 years with the federal government. I'd seen some of the endemic issues in Nigeria, trying to push policy, trying to push development, fighting government internally. So when I go back from the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I always wanted to change. When somebody throws something on the ground, I'm like, let's organize a campaign and clean up this place. When somebody says he doesn't have a job, let's do another thing and train these people. Until I was broke. When I was broke, reality dawned on me that this is not sustainable. To set in perspective, the first event that we did, we raised about $5,000 here in Abuja years ago, and my car was just 700K. And we gave it all out for free. So a friend tapped me behind. He said, I really love what you're doing. How is this sustainable? And he was a doctor, well exposed, well traveled. And I said, how is this sustainable? So then I belonged to a youth community where they were always going out to give. And I sat down, I looked around, people don't even know this side of the story. I dropped out from PhD at some point in my career because I sat down in the class and everybody that was teaching me was broke. I'm not kidding you. I sat down in the class, econometrics, I got great grades, but I looked around and I was like, I should spend 4 years to learn how to broke. So when I made the shift to start building companies, I then was not working with SocialGood Fund. To set in perspective, I'm the only African that is allowed to work in SocialGood Fund because we mobilize funds, right? But right now, we've been able to fund across the continent millions of dollars, a total of $100 million per year.
That's a huge portfolio.
Right? But when I moved to building businesses was because I did not want to end up being broke after doing good. When they sacked a community in Kaduna and we did the feasibility study and everything, and they came back to me and they said, this is going to cost $100,000 to build a school in Kaduna. How do you think I felt? Did I want to change community? Yes. Did I want to give back? Yes. Did my pocket agree with that vision?
Nope.
So then I had to design programs and projects and pitch it to a company in US, and that company loved it and said, part of our CSR is to give back, and they sent 100K for that project. That project is 5 years in Kaduna right now. 270 kids on scholarship in Kaduna. The kids don't even know me. That's the beautiful part. So when we talk about social entrepreneurship, for some, maybe they were more lucky, they knew the term, right? And they just started immediately. But for us, we wanted to go and make money. But the cry of humanity and the communities that we lived in necessitated that we took 10 to 20% of our profit and give back to community yearly. So right now, we have about 7 businesses that we have invested in Nigeria. We have farms across Africa. We export to the Middle East. But 10 to 20% of each of those businesses gives back to community. So when she asks, how did you find it? I don't want to come from a sacrilegious or spiritual place like, I was in the place of prayer and the Lord said to me, do good. And I went, no. I believe in God, honestly, but I also believe in wisdom. So we built companies, those companies developed stability and they scaled. Then we took money out of those companies and we've kept on impacting communities. So awesome. That is how my journey started. It wasn't that
awesome.
I liked you all too much.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. I mean, thank you for keeping it real. I think yesterday I was still speaking with a friend and we're like, a lot of people who start non-profits, we were talking about non-profits, a lot of people who started non-profits in Nigeria was by happenstance and situation, like, just like you said. So it's good that we have, something that resonates with that as well. And I'm sure a lot of persons in the room will also resonate with that. So it doesn't have to, you have to be honest with yourself. If you're doing it for the money, if you're going in it for the money, go in it for the money, but as well understand the fact that you're also doing good. You need to do good. Now I'm going to go to Sarah.
All right. The truth is, how I got into social entrepreneurship, I don't even know. But I'll tell you my story. I'm a lawyer, trained lawyer, practiced litigation for a while. But, and if I do say so myself, I think I was actually very hardworking, because my head of chamber at the time used to tell me, I want to make you the youngest female SAN in Nigeria. But if you're a lawyer and you've practiced, you know what that means, right? And I didn't have day, night. It was just like literally working around the clock. But that was not it. I just knew that I didn't want to do that, right? For some reason, I knew that, you know what, I wanted to use my skills. Growing up, I wanted to be a police officer, because I wanted to stop crimes. I watched a lot of crime movies, read a lot of novels, and I actually studied law because I thought, okay, I don't want to go to police school, so let me, you see how I always just wanted to do good. So when I was doing law, I'm like, if I tell you the law I was doing, you will also understand my plight. I was in election mostly, election petitions, so that was a far cry from me doing good. So I quit and I went to work for a non-profit. And I think that's how the journey started. But from working for a non-profit and then starting my own, I now realized I wanted to be sustainable. The truth is, if you ever ask us one of the mistakes that we made, I can say one mistake I made early on was doing everything for free. Thinking that, oh, I want to do good, so it has to be 100% free. It really, really burnt me. And I knew that, you know what, I had to build something to be sure that I'm sustainable. Yes, I'm doing good, but I'm also profitable and sustainable. Then I can be scalable. So that has been my journey thus far.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So we're seeing another perspective, someone who has always wanted to do good. Even though life, education had taken her to a different, through a different route, she still, you know, circled back to what she actually wants to do. Rita.
My story started with heart. Love. Love for something. I have big passion for the creative arts. I love it to pieces. What do I mean? Music, dance, drum, the whole 9 yards. You don't split it up. I love it. And I was fortunate enough at the time when lots of people were studying courses they had no business studying, to have studied creative arts in the University of Lagos. I was a pioneer, part of the pioneer set of that department. It wasn't like I was going to just do dramatic arts. I was going to learn about visual arts, music, ethnomusicology, all of the things that I needed to learn, and theater. And so I was really passionate about total theater. And I think that something happened when I started writing my final year thesis. And my final year thesis was on epic theater. And of course, I'd studied like 2 playwrights. And I remember the last line of my piece was, I do not believe in art for art's sake. I believe that art has the power to transform. And I didn't know that I was writing my life's journey without knowing. And so, of course, graduated, last born of the family, observed what was going on with my siblings. They all studied courses they had no business studying. And there was gross unemployment in my family line. And I needed to do something different. I mean, you know, we inherit systems. So the system could have been the same thing. So the first system I broke was the fact that I studied a course that I loved. So that was the first thing. So I was already in line, right? Because I did that, I got into advertising, and I was able to find my niche in advertising as a creative. One of the very few female creatives at the time, doing copywriting, learning creative strategy, learning all of the strategic, models and methodologies that you can think of. And whilst I was doing that, fortunately during my youth service year, I was exposed to young people like myself who were interested in transforming Nigeria. So that's another thing. I found my community. I found my tribe. And
I then became vice president of the One House Music Unit. And what were we doing? We're taking music to the streets as coppers. That was our project.
Okay.
We actually asked that, that be carved out as a special community development project for us. And so we're composing songs about HIV/AIDS, about, violence, about different things. We'll go under the bridge, Joledo in Lagos. We'll go to Ikeja as in, the places where people gather, and we will gig out, and I'm talking about the early 2000s. And then at the time I was working with an NGO, so I would get flyers and I was doing all of that. And so that opened my world into what's possible with the creative arts, just like I had stated in my thesis, that yes, the arts can transform. And I think that, to just put it shortly, that all of these experiences put together, I was able to start Street Project Foundation, an organization focused on raising young leaders, using creative arts as a tool to do that. And we know how many young people gravitate to the arts. And if you want to change mindsets, which Nigeria needs, you can use the arts to do that beyond entertainment. And that was how it all started.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Now, I'm going to spin off a little bit from what you said and what I got from what you said. Do you think that for a person, for an individual, and I'm asking all three of you, just in 30 seconds or more each, do you think an individual, someone in this room, would have a good chance of succeeding as a social entrepreneur by gaining experience in a non-profit first? Or just, because from what I heard from you, you worked in a non-profit, you were a lawyer, you practiced.
Both.
But it
I
wasn't
worked both in for-profit,
for-profit and
non-profit.
So would you say that it would be good for a person who wants to be a social entrepreneur to learn the good side, the social good side of things, by either volunteering at a non-profit or working for a non-profit before starting their own stuff, or they can just, go in? And if they are able to go in straight into it, what knowledge do you think they need to have first for them to be a, because it's easy to start out as wanting to do good and then just veer off, being concerned about just the profit. So I'm going to start with Oyewole, and then I'm going to go to Rita, and then, because I have a specific question for Sarah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So life has changed drastically for me. Some months ago I turned 40 and I told myself I would hardly speak out, right, except if it's necessary to speak, right, because I will not waste my time, my effort to deceive people or to hype people. You're not even young, because if you go across the world and you see what people are doing at 18, 20, you realize you're not young. A certain guy sent me a message that he's coming to Nigeria to fix logistics stuff. He just rose $10 million in US. He's 20. And I'm like, my friends, do a SWOT analysis of yourself, a personal life SWOT analysis. When I was in university, every single day I would open my desktop and I would open the Encyclopedia Britannica and read a day in history. When I was leaving university, I had trained over 265 youths, university undergrad. These 265 youths were my co-founders when I started my firm in Abuja. So when you see extreme loyalty, some people have 15 years in my company, some have now equity. What is your competitive advantage as an individual? I own non-profits, trust me, they are doing good, right? But you need to always start from the position of your advantage. Are you knowledgeable in what you want to do? Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. There are certain people that are 18 years that have tons of experience already. I was speaking to a certain lady and I was in shock. I don't know if you know Imal Silva. He's in the arts. His daughter was speaking to me, and while she was speaking to me, I was shocked. From that, we created a global mentorship platform where Imal Silva is, DDK is and all that. So young, but she walked up to me and said, you're always busy in this government agency. Everybody else is chatting, chitty-chatting, talking about you and I'll just be on my desk building Nigeria's future, Africa stuff. I was just creating. I was carrying out survey in Ogbomoso. I will cut my hair, wear uniform, and carry surveys, avoidance of tax. I'll be doing surveys. They'll think I'm a young student. They are filling the form. But when I want to publish the survey, the government will say, you want to put this to shake the quality? So I understood why I had to leave the government. So what I'm saying to you, and let's be realistic, my story will not be your story. Our stories are uniquely ours. Because some people say, oh, how many customers or how many clients or how many individuals or how many partners or how many funders have you dealt with? And I will tell you, some of my greatest funding in my own career has no contract or award letter. So somebody gives you $100,000 and say, based on your integrity. Should I tell you now to go and be running with integrity? Great, run with integrity, run with documentation, put yourself out, position yourself out on social media and LinkedIn. Your generation is slightly different. Our generation, let me not say your generation. I'm 40 now, but they say that is when your youth starts in Nigeria. Now I can start
claiming to be a youth.
I can claim to be a youth. Our president doesn't have an age. But the point is, everybody else can tell you what to do, but you yourself, you need to do a SWOT analysis. And where you are lacking, where the opportunities are, identify, do it today. Just sit down, be honest. And if you can't be honest to yourself, go to somebody else that you hold in repute and say, tell me. Most of the people that mentor under me, it is tough, it is difficult, but eventually when they come out, they own their own organizations. Now, all of them are opening their own non-profit, their own businesses and everything. They are doing fine. I always say this every now and then. People reach out to me across the world and they say there are roles for Nigerians are not employable. There are tech roles right now in my DM that says, oh, this is 70,000 pounds. Find this person for me. Have you really developed yourself? Do you know what it is to lead an organization? Don't let all the beautiful dresses and the amazing accent deceive you that she didn't have sleepless nights. I'm sure you had sleepless nights building your organization. I was speaking to a top organization, top social enterprise, and the lady was saying to me, oh yeah, I want to close. I said, well, yeah, where's the $1 million? Why do you want to close? I said, oh yeah, this work in Nigeria. Because she's getting to political hurdles where she's meant to do something against her will. So she came to me to ask for advice. Now, do I pay these guys to get access? I said, I'll show you a better way, and that's where wisdom and mentorship comes in. I say, the next time you are doing this and they are asking you for this, copy all of them and copy the US Embassy.
Accountability.
Do you understand? Copy a trail and copy. If you have anybody in the US, copy a trail, copy the US Embassy. And say, sir, you said you are going to do this. We have shook agencies, we have shook government agencies are not taking bribe by that. The reason why I'm the only African in the organization I work for is that prior to that time, 10 years ago, Nigerians had been trying to dupe them. So please do a very good SWOT analysis. If you're a lawyer now, don't immediately just jump and say, I will not do law anymore and I'm giving up on there is a pathway in which you transition. If you're a medical, find your SWOT analysis. Do you have people that if you say, I need capital now, they'll give you some money? Do you have people that experience in the non-profit sector? The non-profit sector, I will tell you categorically, especially in Nigeria, is more about, and I'm going to say this respectfully, is more about positioning who you know and how you project your work out there.
Absolutely. That's right.
I have seen rooms that, okay, let me stop here, but I've seen rooms that people literally will just be on the table and be like, oh, we have $500,000 funding. What do you want to do? So if you are still not competent in delivering a program with M&E and everything, you will still show your incompetence.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we'll still, this conversation or this line of thought will still filter in almost all of the things that we're going to be talking about from here on. So Rita, do you think it helps
So I'm going to challenge that question. The entire idea of social enterprise, I'm going to challenge it because I'm not big on tags, labels. When I started, I didn't know there was any such thing. It wasn't the buzzword.
Of course.
And so I will say, don't be bogged down by the description and definition of what a social enterprise is. I think it all comes down to being human, being honest with yourself about what your potentials are. Because it's easier, and I was just sharing this with Sarah today. The driving phrase of Street Project Foundation is do what you love. And it's not a cliche line, because it is very possible to be able to take something you're passionate about and think about it in a different way and imagineer what the possibilities are. At the time when I started Street Project Foundation, as a creative, people weren't doing what I was doing in the way that I was doing it. So it comes down also to business knowledge. It's important because I also had both, I had the knowledge of both sides, fortunately. I mean, I worked in marketing and communications. So, and I was doing that whilst I was building my not-for-profit. So it wasn't that I left that and I went there. At some point, that was funding my passion project. And it's important to be really honest about that. Starting a not-for-profit is not beans. It's not easy, right? But what gives you the staying power is the conviction. And you can hear it in my voice. I love what I absolutely. And so, if I waited 5 years for the first breakthrough to happen, and I became a Mandela Washington Fellow, because I had built, like he mentioned, Oye mentioned, had built a track record within the 5 years of running projects. So I wasn't staying idle. I made sure that I was consistent with the delivery of what I said I was passionate about. I developed a proprietary tool that I was going to use to develop how we would, train our young people. And I put into action. I also tested things and failed. And tested again. And I call it playing, right? It's experimentation. And so you're playing with different things. It is in the playing, and those of you in the innovation space know this very well, that you are improvising and you're building on different things, and before you know it, there is a light bulb moment where you know that you have actually reached a point where you know that you have developed value and you can sell it to anybody. And so conviction plus tested value put together, you can pitch it anywhere and you would sell it and you would win. And so, back in summary, is what do you love to do? What knowledge can you build around what you love to do? How do you live life such that you are a sponge and taking on different things, such that you are able to also begin to test and experiment on that? What do you have by the side if your social enterprise cannot thrive on its own?
What's your
that
side
may help
hustle?
you? What's your side hustle?
Okay.
Very, very important. It could even be a main or hustle for the time being, because being a copywriter was a major hustle for me, but fortunately was in line with what I loved to do. So whilst I was doing it, I was developing myself as an expert in the field beyond just theater, visual arts, and poetry. I was getting vocabulary, technical skills that I needed to make me become an authority in that space. And so it's important to be able to explore life, enjoy life, and don't be bogged down by the whole idea of, am I building a social enterprise? You know why? When you think about humankind, and you're thinking about us as social beings. You're thinking about what am I going to do for my people to make them thrive? That's the thinking of a humanist. How do I create spaces where people who are vulnerable can be uplifted? How do I, it's coming from a very good place, from a human place, from a kind place. And I think we always need to start with heart. Thank you.
Okay. So she says art, and you can hear it, you can feel it, you can feel the energy in the room. She's passionate about what she does or what she's doing. There's something she said about side doors. I just want to, bring us back, lighten the mood a little, because we are getting so serious. I'm like, I always say something that in Nigeria, until you get to that level where you are so comfortable that there's nothing you want that you can't literally get, your side hustle must have a side hustle. That's what I always say. I mean, and then I'm deviating a little bit, and then I'm going to come back to Sarah. Take me, myself as an example. I want to do good. I run a management consulting firm, right? I started out for profit, purely, I'm interested in money. That's what I'm about. And I started, and then I got introduced to someone who works on gender. So I spent the last 6-7 years working on some of the national policies that we have on gender. I got introduced into that. And then I began to see that I can actually do better. That's how I got introduced into this. It wasn't like, but the money is also coming from there. When I decided to focus on Flybridge without leaving my management consulting, of course, we're consulting for government organizations, but being a woman in this space, I understand, I know, there are some challenges. So I told myself, the way that I want my money to come from management consulting for government institutions and quasi-government institutions is not the way that I want it to come. I'm not able to make some compromises. So how do I make money to sustain what I'm doing? Then I told myself, I studied chemistry as my first degree. And I was so good with organic chemistry. So why don't I start, a business or a company that produces something that is natural? And so that's how I've been able to, start small and then be able to fund some of the things that I do, So I'm saying here that when we say your side hustle must have a side hustle, I think we run into problems when the side hustle we're going for is not anything that is in us. So for those of us who will be considering, because if you're running a social enterprise, you have to have something until you balance. So start reflecting on that one thing that you can do that is, resident in you, part of. Some would say, oh, I studied a course in school that I wasn't passionate about. Years down the line, that knowledge is in there. Find what you can do with it. So that's that. Now back to our conversation. I know that Rita doesn't want us to have a tag to social entrepreneurship, but I want us to have a definition for it, so that as we leave this room, we know what it is and what it is not. I mean, we have official definition for things and we have, informal definition for things. Now I want us to go legal.
Legal?
Yes.
All right. Before I go legal, I want to just add one thing to the other question you said. First, I agree with what they both said. I also just want to add, however you're starting, in addition to everything they've said, ensure you understand business. Because one mistake I have seen, especially with people who want to do good, is that they ignore business for too long. And it makes you not structured. In fact, I mean, you just see, oh, we want to do this from one program to another program to another program. No reporting, it's not good. So whatever you want to do, however you want to start, take a cue from everything they've said, do a personal SWOT analysis, which I think is extremely brilliant. You will never go wrong understanding business. You will never go wrong understanding business principles that actually help for-profit entities who probably don't care about good. You'll never go wrong learning how they actually make profits, scale their business, 10x their returns. You'll never go wrong learning that. So I would say put business at the top of your mind and actually learn business. If we have many people who want to do good, understand business, we will do amazingly well. Yeah. We will. So please learn business. Now, so I'm going to start from what she said to define social entrepreneurship legally. She said, don't care about the tags. The truth is many jurisdictions also don't care about the tags, legally speaking. So for instance, I'm a lawyer, and also, you know, when you mentioned that you might study a course, I studied law, I love law. If I was going to go back, I would study law. If you ask me, I want to study something, I'll say study law, because it just makes you unique or irreplaceable, if I do say so myself. So you mentioned whatever you're studying, the knowledge might come back. So even if I'm not in a law firm, studying law has really, really helped me and made me stand out just because of that knowledge I have. Legally speaking, I have people come to meet me and say, oh, I want to register. I actually have someone who said, like last week, I actually want to register a social enterprise. There's no legal framing under the Nigerian law, and not just the Nigerian law, many jurisdictions that says social enterprise. So a social enterprise, social impact organization, social entrepreneurship, all those are, I would say, purpose orientation that can sit in different legal framing, for lack of a better word. Number one, company limited by guarantee. And I'm starting with that because quite a number of people are not aware of this legal structure that could help a lot of organizations. So company limited by guarantee, look at it as for-profit and not-profits in one structure. However, it's still more of a non-profit because you can't take profit from it. You can't share dividends. There's the reinvestment logic back into what you want to do. But it's a very good structure that can help you in terms of policy, in terms of your board, etc. So company limited by guarantee is one. Secondly, company limited by shares. I believe there are actually a lot of private companies limited by shares that are more sustainable, that do social good more sustainably than many people who actually set out to do social good does. So you might want to start with a company limited by shares. For instance, he mentioned that they have quite a number of farms where 20% of their profit gets reinvested back into the company. That's something. And if you're starting that, you might start out registering as actually a private company limited by shares. And then the third one, which it will be an incorporated trustee. This one, many non-profits actually register under this. But as a non-profit, you can also register under company limited by guarantee. But quite a number of associations, non-profits register under incorporated trustee. So those are the three legal structures available in Nigeria as of now. I know there's a lot of policy work, a lot of advocacy for us creating something actually for social enterprise because it will help in terms of investment and some other benefits that it could accrue to social enterprises.
Awesome.
But for now, yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we have the different pathways to registering our businesses as one. Rita, I'm going to ask you, because you do, you work with systems, so to speak, or you challenge systems, so to speak. I'm going to read this question directly to you. What are the most pressing social challenges in Nigeria today that present viable opportunities for people who want to do good, for social entrepreneurs?
Can you repeat that question again?
What are the most pressing social challenges in Nigeria today that present viable opportunities for social entrepreneurs? Just before you answer, Sarah, I understand you want to leave. So that I know
I've already taken some time.
Okay, awesome. So let's,
thank you.
Yes, please go ahead.
I think there are
many pressing social issues in the country. And so I challenge the question again. I challenge systems, sorry. I think it comes back to human capital. I think I read somewhere recently about, the potential of our entrepreneurial youth population, not just in Nigeria, but in Africa as a whole. I know we've heard it so many times, but I think that there is a huge opportunity in the good that is happening, in the fact that we have a lot of young people in this country interested in enterprise than maybe many parts of the world that we can tap into, right? And which, SocialGood Fund is already tapping into, right? And I really think that what we need are environments where young people can thrive. Because the truth is, a lot of, I have a community of young people and I ask them questions. And one young person was like, I don't think that, it's the ideas, we're not, the ideas are not lacking. The ideas are there. We're burning with ideas. But when the environment you are in stifles you from being able to bring those ideas to life, what do you do? And so I think it is important to create systems. I think that's the problem. We have the population. We have lots of people who are doing good and really working with young people in agriculture, in tech, in different places. And it's almost like, okay, after you train them, then what? How do you harvest the opportunity? How do you create opportunities and access for them? I was reading recently Otedola's book. And one of the things that I saw was like the advantage from the very beginning that he had. You had parents who studied in the UK. So both your parents were educated and studied in the UK. Came back to Nigeria, right? And they became part of the political class. That's not the story of many young people in this country. And this is not to say that, they're wearing like some really beautiful points about his struggle and all of that. But one thing I learned that he had, that a lot of young people don't, is access to opportunities. Even when he was cutting, people's fingernails in his father's house at 11 and charging them, kobo as a child, he had that environment. He was cutting white men's nails, president's nails, different people, governors, people coming to the house, right? So as a child, he was already confident enough to be able to speak to people at high level, have relationships, build relationships at that level. We need to create environments where young people can think that way, right? We're just talking about, our definition of youth and, they are 16, 18 abroad and they've started stuff, their businesses are thriving. It is opportunity, creating those opportunities. And I really think that's the major problem.
All right, thank
challenge.
you. So you are looking at it from the angle of creating enabling environment or access to opportunities for young people.
So that young people can imagine beyond the inherited problems.
Okay.
Imagine beyond the systems of the inherited systems of the problems that have been created.
Awesome. So I'm going to spin off that and ask Oyewole the same question that I asked you. Now we're talking about creating opportunities, making it possible for people to thrive. So I'm going to ask you the same question, but from that angle. From the work that you do, if you were to say we're funding A, B, C, and D, what pressing social challenges would those A, B, C, and D be? Right?
Yeah. So first of all, I so much enjoy listening to her speak because one of the few things that has been most pivotal to the success of our work is that we listen to people, right? All the solutions that we have created and funded has been by Africans. To set in perspective, one of the social problems that we try to solve, the one chance, because We lost 2 of our staff. We had about 140 staff. We lost 2. So I returned back to Nigeria to solve that problem. That was one of the reasons why I came back from London. I want to set in perspective, maybe because a lot of times people don't know my background. They think that maybe I came from, because I'm speaking English. Nah, screw all that stuff. It can be learnt, right? I didn't come from anywhere special. Kogi State, grew up in Kaduna, experienced 2 riots in Kaduna, moved to Abuja, schooled at University of Ilorin, masters at the University of Ilorin, so that you can see it's nothing special, right? It was when I made money, and I went to go and carry Oyibo, and I told them that the 100K I spent in this UK, I'll come back and collect it, and I registered a business there, and we're making money now from the UK. Why is this important? While she was speaking, it can almost look peculiar to a young person, like how can you succeed in Nigeria? It can almost look like, you might as well just cut the corner. Some of your parents have already bribed. Some of your parents have already stolen to pay for your school fees. Some of them are paying tithes in church from the money that they've stolen from the masses. So when you pray to God, what of that person that couldn't go to school because your parents are stealing their money? So why I'm saying so is because everything starts from the foundation, right? When you see somebody that has a strong resolve to do good, most likely he was around maybe a family, a community, or something that inclined that person
Gave
to
the person leverage
to do good.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So take for instance, I saw my father fired from the government agency because he didn't take a bribe. And I didn't understand it at that point. So when it was now my turn, right, he in his own side, he was, they're very peaceful, these old guys. They're like, oh, God give it, God take it. Me, I was like, nah, me, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. After 10 years, I strategically started to ask myself, what is the one tool or what is the one thing that is most critical to the success of businesses, organization everywhere in the world? Guess what? It's the people. People on different levels. The people that you serve, the people that you build, the people that also are doors, the people that are mentors. You see, when you do not have an advantage, go to strategy. Go and look for strategy. Every single time I want to build a business, I ask myself, who are the top 5 people, most influential people that can call the next person to get me access. Sometimes I want to build a business and I'll just call Bishop Cooker. I'm like, my daddy. Like, my son, where are you? Something. And sometimes you just text the vice president. Sometimes you just give me feedback. But do you know how long it took for me to cut that relationship? Do you know how long I would be hungry and I'll still be listening to him for 1 hour speak? But many young people, when you tell you to come and network, you come into the environment and the first thing is like, I saw fund in your name. If I show you my LinkedIn, my DMs, you almost think I have the money that I do not have. So what I'm saying is that you need to start developing a strategic plan. Who are the top 3 people in your field that you want to meet? Who are the top 3 guys credible that can get you there? Now, I have seen times, I wanted to, and I'll say this, we signed an MOU yesterday, it's on social media right now with Abdul Samad Rabiu, right? But I had planned for this for 1 year. I had started to network, asking nothing from those networks apart from just get me into a meeting and let's just have a conversation. Why I'm saying that is that your generation has to, in our generation, my father then would force me to read Proverbs. When I wrote my book, it was because I spent day and night reading Proverbs, understanding what wisdom was. So when I'm speaking to a Hausa man, I understand what a Hausa man and how a Hausa man thinks. When I'm speaking to an Igbo man, I understand how an Igbo person and a Yoruba person. So when you say, oh, what are the societal problems? When we built Rescuta, right? Initially, I wanted to build a fintech company. I was coming back to Nigeria. I had some money. I was like, then I lost 1 staff. I was like, okay, it's a mistake. 1 chance, they threw the lady. The second one now happened. Only child, just married, 6 months. Only child of his mother. I was pitching the app in London in front of investors, and I realized I had not even mourned him. And I started to tear. A whole pitcher of the pitcher. I pitch regularly. I just realized that I had not internalized that Nigeria had taken this guy away from me. So when I returned to Nigeria, I built that. Immediately, somebody offered me 700 million naira. Guess what? I said no. I said no. 2 months after that, my friend that was initially was saying, why are you solving kidnapping, one chance, insecurity in Nigeria, was bringing money my way. So there are certain endemic issues in Nigeria that if you want to solve, you must be giving to the problem. Giving. You will first sell out yourself. It's not about immediate profit. It wasn't about profit for me. It was about how do you tackle this issue. I was speaking to the military, I was speaking to to INEC now, and to many other organizations to secure their systems.
Okay.
So think around security. Then she spoke about, in the tech center we have just next to Oyewole, this building, there are tons of people learning tech. It's easy to learn. The question is, who have you become during learning? Learning is the easy part, but can you show up regularly in a Zoom call meeting? Can you hold a conversation? Can you negotiate? Can you have face-to-face interaction without taking, some of you are pitching your, learn it. Go to the toilet before you want to talk, and maybe you want to do a pitch. All these type of things that, and I just say that, in Yoruba they say, I don't know how to speak Yoruba, they say, look at this one, what's this one? Me, if I want to pitch, I'll sit down. You know this funny cartoon that say, meditate. Just steal your mind. Just, I don't know. $200,000. $200,000. I'm practicing. What I'm saying is use wisdom as a tool, right? We are not young. Let's even forget the young tag. Let's forget it. Just use wisdom as a tool. From this meeting, some of you can connect with some of the people sitting down here, even some of the people sitting around you on LinkedIn, and start to develop those connections. I've seen time when somebody reaches out to me and say, you know this person, and it's transferred credibility, it's transferred trust from somebody else. Alan Hamzat Lawa, we do not read documents we exchange with each other. I was like, Hamzat, I want you to do this. Oh yeah, Oga, explain what it is. He has never looked back to think that, he has put 1 0, or he has removed 1 0. So you have to build, because if you are not patient, you will take the short and road, and you will get that immediate, but you will crash. Let me leave you with one more story. Whilst I was doing my international MBA,
we have time for a story.
I'll just summarize.
Yeah.
An SCN just called us and said the organization moves so much money to impact and to development and stuff. You want to move 87 billion naira through your organization. You take 40%. An SAN. I was driving on London Street. I told the head of the humanitarian, I was like, because I know I've trained them. So I said, I'll take this call. So when the SAN called the head of the humanitarian, it's a lady, she started to laugh. She was like, SAN, sir. SAN, sir. He now called me back and I said, for people taking, do you know I'm an SAN? Do you know I'm an SAN? That same person, last quarter of 2 years ago, that person, that minister, the head, lost her role. So you have to build with wisdom, and you have to build for the long haul. Define clarity, define strategy, use wisdom as a tool, know when to act and when to just be patient, know when to build credibility, know when to go out of public limelight, leave social media. I said 2 years without showing anything. But immediately I came out, nobody could ruffle me. I knew what I wanted to build.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I can get from this is, let's give him a round of applause. What I can get from this is, one of the most pressing issues right now is insecurity, right? So it's one of it. But then another thing that I got from it is we have myriad of issues in Nigeria. From what he said, whichever you pick, you have to be sold, completely sold to it. That's the only way that you can get something substantive from it. Now, Sarah, I'm going to come to you.
Yes, please.
When I was introducing you, there were figures, money. So I'm coming to you with this question.
I don't have funds in my name. Let's be guided.
So now this is what we're getting a little bit more practical now. Okay. And in not so many words, I want you to talk to us about how do we strike a balance doing good, and profitability. I know we've talked about it, but in a minute or two, what's that one strategy that you can share to say this is how you will be able to strike a balance, between...
In not so many words.
Yes, in not so many words.
All right. Doing good and being profitable. Interesting. Okay, I'll say...
Or social impact and being profitable.
Social impact and being profitable. Sometimes when you hear the word balance, I think it kind of suggests a trade-off, right? So you say, oh, if I do more good, it means I'll be less profitable, or if I'm trying to chase profit, it means I will not be doing much good. And that's the first thing I want to shatter first. I've also heard a lot of takes on this. I currently belong to an investment fellowship, and we were currently in a simulated IC where one of the VC investors was talking to us, and some of us that are very impact focused, we were trying to push impact companies in Africa. And because we're impact focused, when we're talking on the ROI, we really push the impact, the women, the farmers, all of those. And he was just like, let me tell you, in fact, he made a statement. He said, if you're serving underserved population, there's a reason why they're underserved, number one. I was like, number two, he said, if you're trying to really pursue impact, you will not make as much profits. Now, what I got from that, right, remember the reason why we in SocialGood, we need to listen to all those spaces is because you will get one or two that would also help you structure the kind of work that you do, and also prepare you for when you're in front of a couple of people that could help advance your work. What I got from that first was one of the best ways I think we can marry both will be to design a system that the activity you're doing that brings profits also generates impact, or that generates impact also brings profit and revenue. And it's not so, well, it's not the easiest thing to do. But that's where Mr. Oye has really talked on learning, wisdom, knowledge. Because if you look at, I also made a statement prior to now where I mentioned that some 100% for-profit organizations that probably did not set out to do social good, quote unquote, are, when you look at their ESG reports, the amount of people they are impacting is wild. Let's use Money Point, for example. I don't know how they started, why they started, but they really have a tech background. But do you know how they've solved financial inclusion much more than many, quote unquote, 100% non-profit, how they have solved it more than those kind of organizations? So it's really not about just, I want to do social good. If you can design an activity in which the activities, the set of things you're doing will also generate social good, I think you're in a sweet spot. So that's how I would answer it. But I also don't want you to think, I speak with a lot of social entrepreneurs, non-profit founders because of my work. And I see this as a mindset belief that a lot of people have, where you think when you're doing good, it means you might not be making profit. And that's why sometimes when reality dawns on people, what they do is just say, you know what, let me pause this charity I'm doing. Let me just go and get something to do. But there's a way to design your work that would afford you the ability to scale, grow. Even if you're doing a business, you will have to grow. There are steps. You might not wake up this morning and get $1 million, right? So you will have to grow. But at the end of the day, you will be profitable, scalable, and also investable.
Thank you very much. I hope we got that. Okay, awesome. So before I go to Rita, I'm going to circle back to Oyewole here. When I think earlier in the conversation, I got did before now, working with government organizations. So this question is for you. In not so many words, because right now we are running with time, not against time. So I want us to, have so much conversation, but within the shortest period of time. Now, what role does government policy play in enabling or hindering social enterprises in Nigeria? And how can founders effectively engage with policymakers to create a more supportive ecosystem? So it's a bifold question.
In not so many words.
In not so many words.
Ask AI. But I don't know how you want to talk about scalable impact without policy. You are going to reach a blocker. Even as she speaks about many of these fintech companies, because back then we meet at Lagos conversations, all of them wanted to meet government, regulators, SEC, right? So no matter what you are doing, at some point when you get to scale, you have to speak to government.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, before you get in front of government, make sure that you are ready. I'm telling you, we think that policies in other climes are built to help the people. But many policies that we see in our climb is built to help the structure and the system, right? So many times when I walk into there, I already know that, man, this is going to be a fist fight, right? But really, if you are looking at it from the part of policy, policy is meant to just kill what is good. So take for instance, back then, I think that was about 6 years ago, Paxful, when I worked with Paxful, back then we were trying to get cryptocurrency into Nigeria. They fought it, they pursued us, we would go, I would say I want to see the vice president, the policymaker would say, what, something. Now they are taxing cryptocurrency. Now they are not thanking us for being the policy. Now they have CNGM. That is our work. But they are not mentioning us, they are sharing the money, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm trying to say is that policy scales things. Policy brings a bigger narrative, right? One policy can change the educational landscape of Nigeria.
Yeah.
One policy can change even this insecurity situation in Nigeria. Because if you say policy now, why insecurity is so dear to my heart now is that we can build anything. But once there is no insecurity, let me tell you, I can bet it with you, the next out of school children survey that they will do in Nigeria due to the insecurity currently right now will stun you. That's why we at our organization built all the curriculum, educational curriculum, into one flash drive that you can put in your phone and learn as a child at home, no matter where you are. One, built. But we still have to go to policy makers. Now the policymakers are coming to us and say, oh, we want it in LGO. Say, yes, we know, we understand. They, in their own budget, might have that flash drive as something else. Maybe it will not be our flash drive, it might be named something else. So in case you see that flash drive, don't say, oh, you have gone to, But what I'm trying to say, it takes you to be very prepared before you get on that table. But without policy, there isn't anything sustainable. I'm telling you for a fact. Then the second part of the question was about founders, right?
Yes, how can founders effectively engage with policymakers?
Please, founders, never engage with government alone. I will beg you, do you understand? I will beg you, do you understand? Even either, because most times when people I speak, I'm tilt towards more of the business side. So I can see her when she's asking the question, she'll say, profit guy, and the non-profit. No. I love people. I genuinely love people, right? I have invested in people's businesses that I just believe in your mission, right? But yet again, I love to bring people together to fight for causes, right? And that's the challenge we have in Nigeria. You see somebody say, this is an Igbo business, this is a Yoruba business, this is a Hausa business, right? Or they'll say that, oh, we went to a meeting and this person said something in Igbo. What did he say? What did he say? How do I know? Do I look like... like, what's wrong with you? You will get burnt. I have been burnt. It's part of the learning curve. But if we want to move at scale and to access what we deserve, right? Even when we're talking about the startup bill and all those type of things, it was a group of founders coming together. If the non-profit sector is going to work, we used to organize the social impact roundtable where we brought non-profit actors at M7 Humanitarian to come and create those policies, bring everybody. No glory, it's not oh, no, bring everybody together. There's the Association of Non-Profits in Lagos. Bring them together and fight for a cause. Do not fight alone in Nigeria. That's how they divide and that's how they conquer. Somebody is making profit. Or let me not say profit. Somebody is making money from every irregularity you see in the society called Nigeria.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's right. That's right. So what I get from this is there's strength in number.
Yeah.
So if you're engaging on a particular issue, bring everybody to the table and have that discussion. So now I've been the only person asking the questions. So I want to come back to the audience. I know we have a lot of questions, so we're going to take a few questions. And so, do we have microphone for? Okay, thank you. How many persons have? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4. Starting with her, we'll take the first question from her.
Good evening. Okay. Thank you so much for your session. My name is Omole. I run a social enterprise actually.
Okay.
And Mr. Oye, thank you so much, because I've heard the story about you sharing about the sand before at Susie's event. So that stuck with me. I can't lie. But I have a question for 3 of you actually. I'm really sorry, but I really do have a question for 3 of you, because I'm facing a lot of challenges with my social enterprise. Like you said, business. Now I'm learning that I really do have to learn how to do business. It wasn't really my thing. So my question for Mr. Oye is, first of all, how do you navigate building a sustainable brand when your target audience can't afford your program? So I'm running an organization where we're training young graduates on how to become employable, right, and then get them into internship. So we don't want to leave them after the training. We want to plug them into, but of course we know that a lot of them can't afford it because they're looking for jobs. So how do we now build a program that's, a sustainable brand when they can't afford our services? Then the second question I have is for you is still, so we're focusing on doing small numbers. I know you're talking about scaling the numbers and all. We're thinking that quality, focusing on small numbers would help, but also I feel like that might also be a challenge when you have to reach out to funders, because a lot of times numbers goes a long way. So how do we navigate that part? I just really need help with that, please. Then Ms. Rita, you said you take talked about building authority in your space. Now let's ask you, what is your take on? Do you think it takes time? Like, is that one of the criteria to build authority? Is it time? And if yes, or apart from time, is there anything else you might need to build authority? Because right now we're young, we're almost 2 years, but we're still really, really struggling with creating that impact and that authority in the space. So that's my question. And to Miss Sarah, sorry. So my question for you is, how do you position yourself for funding as a young organization? I should have gone to Mr. Oye, but I feel like yeah. And then for what kind of things? Because you talked about structure. One of the things, reporting, M&E, which is a lot of what we're trying to work on now. So how do I put those things? What other things do I need to put in place, right, to position us for funding? That's what I'm doing.
Okay. So who is the first taker?
I could just quickly respond to your question.
In not so many words.
Well, the truth is, the complete response to that question you're asking can be found in my first book titled Doing, Being, Becoming for the Love of the Creative Arts. And just an answer, in doing, you build authority. So be a doer, and you just spoke about your challenges. That's authority. You have experience. And so you're always going to speak from experience and from the heart when you're doing something that you love and you're speaking from experience of building. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not answered, you can meet her afterwards.
How long? I think she maybe wanted you to.
How long?
Yeah, how long?
So that's what I'm saying. It is in the doing. If you have started, you speak within the limits of what. Don't now come and start saying things that you have not tested or tried.
Yeah.
Or because you Googled or went to AI and then you want to come and no. People would know that it's not authentic. But if it's your lived experience, even if you get to a panel, like you speak from your experience. I can say, I've been 1 year in this business, and from that perspective, this is what I've learned. People respect you from there. Be honest, be authentic, and authority starts by doing consistently.
All right.
You're welcome.
Sarah.
All right, so I think my question and his question are very linked, because for you to raise funds, it means that you have something good. So your program, your product has to be designed in a way that funders would want to invest in that. But I will just speak on what you asked me. What other things do you need to do to become fundable? So let me give you an instance. I've been running Nolton Africa, a consulting firm, for about officially like 3-4 years. And the first time an international organization wanted to hire us to do something, we got the interview. I sent in my proposal. They said, oh, this is very good. A fresh voice. We love it. Had a series of interview with the senior leadership team, with the board. And when we're done, they just said, oh, thank you. I was so happy, rejoiced. Hey, I called my parents, called everybody. Guys, we've gotten our first international client, not as Sarah, as the company. And then the next morning, I said, oh, before we start, we just want to ensure you pass the due diligence. And they sent a lot of things. I was like, what? At the time, no financial documentation. A lot of people, even non-profits, you are funding your work. You're doing it from your personal accounts. You have no financial record that you're spending money in your organization. So the first thing, that's why when I said do business, I probably did not spell it out. But things like financial documentation, extremely important. Legal. Governance.
Safeguarding.
Policies. Extremely, as little as what's your human capital policy, your anti-bribery and corruption, those things look like, but it's important. Now, if you do not start today, in 1 year, 2 years, you might meet a funder who wants to give you money, and they say, oh, send in your audited account statement. And you're like, oh, we don't have blah, 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 blah. You've missed it.
Yeah.
Your tax clearance certificate. You can have tax clearance certificate if you don't have financial statements. You've missed it. So the first thing today, what's your, if you start with legal, finance, you're in a good place to start, right? Before you, there are a lot of things, but if you start there, you grow as you build and you continue to do the rest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So,
such an interesting question. Do you like money?
Yeah.
You like money, Abby? I can see it. The way her body is. See, the best thing you can do, right? I always say it that every problem I have is because I haven't met the person that solved the problem. Most times I interact with somebody like Bishop and a couple of people. There is Matt Black. Matt Black had already done like £100 million before I met him. So he was very skeptical to interact with me until one day I told him what we were building in Africa. Then he said, what? You're building this? Oh yeah, anybody you want me to talk to for free in Africa that is building something substantial, I will talk to once it's you, right? So what I'm trying to say is, maybe, and this might break your heart, maybe this is the season for learning, not for scaling. There are two things. People want to come out when they are not ready and package it on social media with the best graphics, like they are doing stuff. Everybody that speaks in our organization, when they pass through our organization, all of you guys are invited. When they come back, they say, you guys are really solving problems. Oh. You didn't just wake up and say that you want to do NGO. Maybe you need to sit down with somebody, a mentor, and somebody that is already doing what you are doing, and your mission, vision is not stagnant. Why do I say so? Because you can say that
very important.
You can be serving certain people that you said that cannot pay for your stuff. But after a while, you go into oblivion if they can't pay. So you need to ask yourself honestly, like, oh, right now you might be funding it, but you want to transition to a more sustainable structure that includes people paying for your services. So how do you do that? If you are thinking about grants, right, you need to be following what's happening globally. Even, and I'll say this to you guys, even those people that give grants are now looking at ways of trade. What do we get back?
Yeah.
Our organization, let me leave that. It's very important, right? That's the first thing. So there are people, the problem you're trying to solve, we change our mission and vision over the 10 years period, maybe like every time. No, this doesn't align now. Until one time, the company in US, when I was at the office, they just told me, go and create the mission and vision for Africa. My dear, if you see how hard it was. First, we first started with Respect Tech HR that provides tech training. We've trained over 1,000 tech talents. He's a trainer, he's here. Do you understand? And we have matched a couple of them to jobs locally and internationally because of the unemployment issue. We thought that was our vision. After training, I looked at the books. I said, yeah, this is the vision and the mission. This is a mission of your rent is 25 million per year. You want to come and carry this type of vision mission, that you end up with your books at 2 million or 3 million from this one. I said, no, this is not a working mission vision. Went back again. Until I came to a point when I was like, oh, at SocialGood Fund, we invest in the biggest, boldest, and brightest organizations across Africa. Those organizations solving real problems and have the potential to scale. You might be solving a problem, but is it enough problem to scale?
To scale, yeah.
Is it? And that's why many times people come to me and say, how do your staff stay with you this long? In your vision must be the vision of that staff.
Yeah.
To own a family, own a car, travel abroad, go on vacation, maybe even own equity in your company. So the question is, I personally, listening to you, would say go and meet somebody else. It could be any of the wonderful people sitting out here and learn, right? Then and be open. Just if they say, you that has been 2 years in this thing, you're going back to go and learn. Stop all that. I don't put all this age stuff. Me, I'll see some guys that are young. There's a guy then, he used to be close to the founder of Twitter, the guy that created Twitter before he sold it to our dear friend. Do you understand? And the guy is a young guy. Do you understand? And he's 20. I'm 40. He's 20. My organ. Say, oh, you stop this stuff. What are you talking about? What do you know that he's calling you directly? No, what you know, are we humble enough to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. So learning.
So don't rush it.
Okay,
Take
so
your time.
we're able to take the last 3 questions. However, 1 question per person, not 1 question each.
Can we also do it in a way that they all ask the question?
Yes, so now we're taking all the questions at once, but 1 per person. Okay.
Hello, hello, good evening, everyone. Okay, so earlier he spoke about your weaknesses. So I've been privileged to work across with several organizations, like volunteer, work with them, some of the big NGOs here in Abuja. But the very big thing I did to myself was I was not good at telling my own story. And I lost out in a lot of opportunities. There was even a time that 2 people personally from the US Embassy reached out to me, but I never had anything to, I didn't have any documentation. And at that time, maybe I won't say I was shy, I don't know, maybe I didn't really, and that's the problem of mentorship. There was no direction. A lot of people are privileged today, you have somebody you can reach out to and talk to. I was not coming from that point where I got like a guideline and said, okay, start telling your story no matter what, right? So now I'm looking back, and then circumstances, somehow, even the little pictures I have, I've lost 1 phone or something. So I don't even have here to go back to say, okay, have evidence, except now I take time to go to all these NGOs, I go to their social media to get some of the pictures of some of the events or some of the things I've done. But to bring it forward, today I looked at it.
The question.
Yes, I'm coming to the question, but I want to take you somewhere.
No, don't take us anywhere. The question because of time.
My question is this, right? I see that a lot of, where I live in Buhari, we don't have something like this. We don't have any of the place where young people can come in. So this year I just thought to myself, I got a very big space. And I did that as a sacrifice because that money came that time, I just rented the space. But in my thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to get funding to see how, to put the place in order. Yes, I was able to get the space, but I'm struggling to put things into it to make it happen. And this is where I was trying to drive at my question. But I know time will not permit to tell further story around it. So how do I now leverage on some of these opportunities to bring, I'm open to, for instance, you do great stuff, the space is open. We do a lot in this town. Buhari as a whole has 510,000 people. Go and check.
The question.
Yes, my question. I said it already.
How can we come and use this?
What?
It's not a question,
It's an invitation.
No, I'm saying that I'm looking at putting things like working on the hub, police structure. So I'm looking at how do I now leverage or get opportunity to get the, once you go to that fund, yeah. I want to leverage on like a win-win, because if I say funding, it looks wide or big. For instance, okay.
No. So,
let's
come back.
You have this space.
You have the space.
I have this space.
And you want people to come in and use it.
Okay.
How can we make it happen, correct?
Yes. And then make it in a way that is more convenient for people to come use it. Because
Okay.
right now, it's just a space like a slate. Nothing is there yet.
The next
Thank
question. So we'll take all the 3 questions and anyone can answer. Yeah. You took us to different corners and I'm almost lost. So, please go
great
ahead.
panelists. I've been taking down so much nuggets, and apologies I came late. So my question is, I work with women and girls, right? And sometimes I keep wondering who sent me, right? So, yeah. So at what point do you realize that this gap you've identified, that there's opportunity for you to have something for yourself? I mean, not really for yourself, I mean something that will keep you running. And then second, at what point do you decide to scale, and what systems do you put in place to scale? Thank you.
Awesome. So you did a trick, bifold question. The last question.
Hello everyone. Good day.
Okay, yes.
I should say, okay. Good day. First of all, I want to start by saying, Miss Rita, I was really, I was very happy to see you here. I don't know you, but you're a creative artist, and in lots of spaces like this, like theater people, we don't get inclusion a lot of the time. Like, it's always film. Yeah. So my question is on failure and side hustle. So realistically speaking, in Nigeria, I think you have to choose. I think you have to choose between side hustle and your career. I know a lot of my friends that work in film, and they can't do anything else because of the time. They are on set every day, you are creating, you're getting paid for that. So when you say side hustle, how can we navigate that? How can we do side hustle with our passion project? Because Nigeria is not a place that you get opportunities or you get jobs and they are side hustles that you can do. Your time is already taking 9 to 5. If you are doing any job, it's 9 to 5. Then about failures, you said you have to fail and start again, fail and start again, fail and start again. And that's really cool and really inspiring, and a lot of people do that. But we're looking for opportunities, and a lot of people don't want failures, they want results. They're okay, if I give you this amount of money, I want to see this now. Especially people that don't understand creative business, people that don't understand the arts business. So how do we
I should
go
get
about that?
it.
Yes, thank you so much.
The last one. Okay. The last question. Threefold. So those are 4 questions.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Adekunle-James, and I'm so sorry, this is not formalities. I want to first say thank you to Impact Hub. Thank you so much. Believe me, this is a lot. This is a lot, sincerely. Okay, secondly, I'll come by saying that Mr. Oye and Mrs. Sarah, yeah, the both of you said something very peculiar, and it was interesting for me. You said your pathways are different. Everybody has a style, how you got there, what you have done. But I think that generally speaking, all of us were going to have to pass through it one way or the other. Yours is peculiar to you, but I'm still going to journey that way. You have said things here now that sitting here, I can tell you, if I met you 5 years ago, believe me, I'll be sitting next there, maybe in three weeks time.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'll be sitting there in 3 weeks time because of the knowledge you just imparted as well. So I'll now say that there are millions. I want to direct my question to you, Sam. Yeah. There are millions of young people in Nigeria who have great ideas, beautiful ideas. They don't have the privilege of meeting you.
Okay.
Okay, so I started, I'm a media personal and I'm a storyteller. I started, and at a point about 5-6 years ago, I had to shut down. Why? What you said, learn, knowledge. I discovered that there was a gap. I didn't know what I wanted to do. How to do it rightly. I know what I want, but how to do it rightly, I don't know. So, finding you, I can assure you that sitting here, after I leave here, if I meet you and pitch my idea to you, having stayed 7 years, believe me, I believe you'll buy into it. But this is the question. How many young people will be able to meet with you in Nigeria, or people like you in Nigeria? Because young people in Nigeria, intelligent, smart, great ideas, but wondering about because no help.
Okay, awesome. So we have all the questions. Now we can take turn answering them. Yeah, anyone. You.
But I wanted to talk to his own. He didn't address the question because I know him. So I want to first.
Okay, maybe you go first.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me tell you the truth, right? When we started as SocialGood Global, right, before I joined SocialGood, we literally taught people come and rent our space. That's what the model we started with. But what we found out after 6 months, imagine waking up and you used to earn 100,000 naira as your salary from federal government back then, over a decade ago, and you just put money together and you go to your parents and you go like, I want to start my first non-profit. I want to rent a building in Wuse. Why? My own thought was, if I rent a building in Wuse, we can be working from there, but people can be renting it, right? People didn't know about us. There was no money, nobody, right? So you have to apply wisdom and strategy, right? And the reason why I'm talking to you directly is because I know you, right? This guy knows a lot of people. How you get those people to your venue lies in your hand. Every year in our organization, we run 120 to 150 high net individuals visiting. Designed. All of them get customized packages for each of them to make sure they were memorable. So what are you doing? You're sitting with her, you're saying, you want to do a program in Buhari, as she was saying, she was offering it for free, I think. Or she was offering it as
I was trying
to give it to you.
No, I was trying to get him to explain it.
I thought you wanted to. Okay, so you can start from there. Even the impact hub here, you can be strategic. See, I said the world is trying to help you win. The world, right? If I was here and they were saying, okay, I'll say, okay, I have Buhari viewers that want to view. Can I get a screen? Can I get a Zoom call? Yeah. And people just come and sit down and and they're strategic. You are in the Yali community. You share it with all the Yali people as a Buhari viewing center. We did a conference, and in that conference, we wanted to get across Nigeria. We called all the Yali hubs across the 26 states, and all the American hubs protected it. So this is a free and they're for your use. They're not strategic. You said you know somebody in the US embassy. What have you designed and said to that person that reached out to you? Because that person, I entered Cascado's event yesterday, and the person that gives money in Cascado was like, the embassy has been mentioning you, the embassy has been mentioning you. Because I had already hinted the embassy, right? So it's about being strategic. Your relationships are also assets. Your track record is assets. Your failures, because sometimes people look at me and say, no, I was in debt when I was doing my master's in University of Ilorin. I took a loan. I moved from a house like this to a mud house because I paid every dime. Every time my father would say, oh yeah, are you fine? I'm like, in that house there was no restroom. But today you are seeing and you are hearing English. Do you understand? So me, when I'm building a business, do you understand? I know the type of risk I can take. But some of you, immediately the investor comes and the investor flashes more money and says, he wants 40% or 50%. There is no money that they give you that doesn't come with pressure. Be ready for it. Even if they give you grant money, if you like, go and try it. Steal French embassy's money today. They will put You would think you're a criminal. Like, instead, don't document. I was in a call, and that's why what she said, documentation is very important, some years ago. And they wanted to give us a certain grant. And on the net, the guy kept on checking for us. He did find us. 120,000 euros went in that call. Video call, he was checking for us, no documentation. We didn't report on the work, we didn't put videos. Immediately after that, I created a media company. Now that media company is producing documentaries for the French embassy. So everything is trying to push you to your success. And I'll not tell you how much. I was at Abdul Samad's place, and the first thing they said is, these guys have great documentary skills. In my mind, I was like, this media company that we created 3 years ago because I was heartbroken. Then for you, I'm not too sure all ideas should exist. And I don't want to break your heart, because she has said you should follow your heart, or to be, but you need to be very, very real. I don't want to say realistic, right? There are certain things that solves. It's like going to church, right? There are some people that are praying for maybe just to eat. There are people that are praying for the world, right? There are certain things that can solve maybe your immediate community problem. Like us, when we dig boreholes in all the geopolitical zones and put solar power, we just know that, that one is to solve that stuff. We don't expect that those guys might contribute to policy in the immediate. But when we organize round tables, we talk policymakers, we know that these guys can move the trajectory of the nation. Right? So when you say, you have tons of ideas, and when you say that failure is also part of your story, it's also part of your credibility. If you're applying for grants like Cascador, they'll tell you to write about your failures. Even Mandela Washington Fellows, they'll say, what are the learnings from your failures? The time I moved from the non-profit sector, because I was very heavy on the non-profit sector when I left the government, and I switched to the profit sector, all the non-profit guys started to look at me in one eye. So we have to pay for your hall. No, no, don't worry, Yes, one church came one time, they wanted to use our hall and everything, and they know me, I really love the things, religious stuff and everything. And I said, I'm like, it's a couple of millions and everything's all fine. Like, but the Lord, yes, the Lord says, bless the Lord. But I will tell you that price. You have to see. Nigerians are very emotional. So every time when they come to pitch to me, or anytime they sit down, in pit table, they'll say, can you feel my pulse? I can't feel anything. Return on investment. Return on investment. I'm calculating it. I'm collecting money, taxpayers' money, to come and invest in African problems. Return on investment. I can't feel your pulse. But if I see the numbers agree, I myself will carry you. There was a guy that pitched and he said, give me $40,000, take 30% in my company. I said, no, go through our incubation program and really value your company. When he valued, he said, thank you, Oye, for not buying my company cheap.
Okay. So we can go on and on.
But one last thing.
Yeah.
For you, everybody can, mentrack.com, we put all the global mentors, DDK is coming to town, all of them, they are accessible. The only thing is that these days they pay to access them. So when you go on the platform, you can shoot your shots, but it's a platform we launched some months ago, mentrack.com, you can find us.
Okay.
I'll share it with you.
So 2 questions effectively answered. So we have 2 left.
Hi.
Chief, your day of salvation is it?
He's meditating. Oh, okay, okay.
All right. So, if I told you that you had $1 million to do that side hustle, and you were still doing all of the media thing that your friend was doing, would that your friend find a way or not? If there was a price, he could already see the price, right? And he was still doing that his 9 to 5, taking all his time. Knowing that that was there and is guaranteed if he's able to work on it, would he find the time or not? Yes. That's my point. So the thing is, because we've not put a price tag on it, right? It almost feels it's impossible. I mean, I did this. I don't know if you've worked in advertising in Lagos. I did this for 10 years.
a creative and I rose to consultant, creative director. You're working round the clock. And whilst I'm working round the clock, I'm building Street Project Foundation, right? So I think that there needs to be clarity. There needs to be clarity what that side hustle is that you want to build and how far are you willing to go. And that's why I keep coming back to heart. Because with heart comes conviction. If there's no conviction that this side hustle one day it go pay. Do you understand? If you don't have it with all of you, I don't know if you follow a lot of, top people who are doing very well in the creative industry. Some people never had a plan B. Steve Harvey will say he didn't have any plan B. And they were doing comedy and they were doing the arts at the time when, even I came in at the time when the creative arts, our National Arts Theatre for 45 years was dilapidated. So it told you that there was no investment in the arts. And yet one had to think and imagine what the possibilities were. And speaking to policy and the space, he's answered the question about that. But I think that the whole idea of policy and how that dovetails to profit and to skill is very big on space. Do you know that, let's even forget Abuja and even on Lake, they even have what they call community centers, maybe 28. It's not the case in many states in the country. However, one policy that says, we're going to have, it's mandatory. Every local government or every community or every close must have a creative arts center, right? Or whatever it is. And that the government can support it, or that, there's mandates, I don't know what the legal terms are. It definitely would make the space thrive. And how do you push policy? And that's why I talk about creating an ecosystem. And so we have the arts advocacy movement. And the vision is to have 1 million youths by 2030 who use their art to advocate for social causes they care about. And Oye mentioned something, and I think you cannot push policy alone. Currently, Street Project Foundation is working on a project to advocate for the rights of children who are domestic workers, to stop the exploitation. It has taken a consortium of 7 organizations, separate organizations, including Street Project. Some are doing case management. Some are people pulling strengths together, right? What some people would call community or practice, right? To drive, the mission around that cause, right? It also comes back to theater and to creativity. You cannot run away from community and building relationships and growing relationships, because that is where those opportunities will flourish. But is there time? There is. It's just in a mindset.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now to the last question.
All right. So your question was about how to know when to scale. That was just it, right? And systems to put when to scale. All right. Thank you. The first thing I would say, and I think you also touched on the first question you had, is determining when to scale or knowing whether something or not will fail when it scales falls down or boils down to the design in itself. He said something, and I want you all to remember and note it. When you want to solve a problem, the problem you want to solve can be the same. However, the vehicle you would use to solve it might and most likely will change depending on the knowledge you have acquired. The same problem you want to solve, people are solving that on a sustainable scale using a different design. And it's just something everyone should know. Whether or not this thing will succeed, whether or not it will fail, whether or not I'll be able to scale it, depends on how it is designed. One thing I do for fun, and everyone that works with me, they know this, is I just like reading people's innovations. I love it. I worked in a consulting firm where every week, one day in a week for about 2 hours, we all come to share the different innovations you have discovered across the world. And what I realized that did was it opened up my mind. So that's why when he said chase knowledge, at the moment you are very myopic. I'm not saying you. A person is very myopic to think, if I want to solve hunger, it means I have to feed everybody in my village. But with a better design, you would know that, yes, my eyes is fixed on the problem, my eyes is fixed on the outcome. However, the vision, the mission will change. Till he said it, I know that people that work with me will think I'm a mad person, because I can come and say, this vision is not doing it for me. And when he said it, I was just like, Sarah, you are not confused or mad. It's just, the more you grow, the more you know, I might change my vehicle as far as my eyes is set on the goal. But to answer your question directly, if something is not working on a pilot scale, it's not going to scale. An initiative, a project, a business that will scale is, because what is scale? An initiative that will scale will be something that you have tested with 50 people. Yeah. You have a repeatable methodology to deliver it to 50 people with or without you being there. That's where you can take it and say, oh, let's deliver it to 1,000 people. Then let's improve it. I know a couple of people that have done interventions, non-profits actually, programs that a founder will call and say, this thing you did in Abuja, we want you to come and do it in Uganda. We want you to come and do it in, and that's why when I'm working with people, I say, let's design for, yes, we can design for scale to ensure that whether or not we are here, we can tell people when we do this and do this, we don't just wing it. Today we are advocating, which is great. Tomorrow we have a step that if we do 1 + 1 + 1 + 2, it will arrive at this. And yes, we're doing social good, but there's such a way, if you design correctly, that you can arrive at that. Now, how to now do all of that? Seek knowledge.
All right. So, to cap it all, okay.
Just
1 minute.
I just want to say, because she said it and she said it in class, I think, when does it take care of you?
Yeah,
Right?
I didn't hear that.
She said she wasn't.
You will know.
I'm telling
you will know.
It will happen. I will tell you. And when it happens, it will happen fast. Right? It might be dry seasons, which we had, right? But when it happens, right? Like for us, do you understand? I recall a company came to Nigeria and we had been struggling. And so, I don't know if some of you know Ventures platform.
Yeah.
Colina just looks at me walking and just says to the company, this should be your country director, a US company. And it's just a go upset and determine your salary. There was no CV, no nothing. So all the international companies that work for, there's no CV accept. Somebody refers. And I say this thing under God, and people don't believe. Credibility. When we opened our farm in Kuje, right? Spent 150K USD. They came, burnt it down, robbed it. It was never on social media, and people thought I would be depressed. Depressed for what? Are you kidding me? Was I sad? All you just see is me posting Lycos Farms. Lycos means social, stand the backward. You still see Lycos Farms. So somebody reached out to me and asked me, oh yeah, why are you not sad? Why are you not there? I said, if I sit down here, my creative juice will end. Will end. So I had to travel. You know all this, you're traveling, like you're traveling, but you're not really traveling. You're traveling because Jesus. You know? So I traveled, came back and everything. And I placed a call. And somebody was like, I was speaking to a certain individual, which I will not mention his name. And he kept on saying, oh, I was like, oh, you work with the World Bank. What can you do with us? The guy was like, I don't really know. I'm not really interested in media. I'm not really interested in this. But one of my friends that is very credible and really loves us called me and said, bro, tell that guy you have a farm. I said, I don't have a farm anymore. He said, you have land, you have farm. I said, tell that guy. He said, oh, you have a farm? I sit on $500 million. I have a farm now. I have a farm. After conversations, we run trainings with the World Bank now on agriculture because we have registered farms. But the building, everything now is picking up again. Now we are managing consulting for other people's farms. Why I'm saying you should come to our center, just like this center, is so that you can see how adversity, all the things that Nigeria will tell you that it shouldn't work, and how we deal with those problems. Boy is going to take care of you eventually.
However, I would like to balance the conversation around scale, right? I'm going to challenge that as well from a creative perspective, right? Scale is a buzzword in NGO language and may not cut across in every sector. And talking about storytelling is our tool for talking about what impact means. And so one of the language around, as opposed to scale, that is evolving is called compounding impact. What does that mean, right? So for example, Street Project Foundation will gather young people, right? Use the creative arts and train them, right? Then what happens after you have trained them? They start up a business, or they start up a not-for-profit, or they win talent hunt competitions like Deborah Johnson, or they get on America Got Talent like Josh Too Funny. Like, and then what do they then do as a result of that, right? They now also have other people who they are training and building ecosystems around them. And building, that's compounding impact. And the truth is not all not-for-profits would scale. And it's okay if you were designed to stay small. And you already know this is what needs to come in for us to run, to keep doing the work that we do. It might not be millions of people, but what is the compounding impact?
All right. I mean, I think we're going to have to bring the three of you back sometime in the future. And I'm also feeling like if I ask each of you to give a pattern word, it's going to be an overkill. But let's do it anyway. In 1 minute, because I know we have a lot to pour out into us. But then we have to go. So in 1 word or in 2 words or in a sentence, what do you have to say to us as we
paragraph?
leave? Yes. No, a sentence. Not a paragraph, a sentence. What do you say to us that we can run with from today?
All right, I think I'll start. I said a paragraph, but you know I'm very fast. My pastor said something in church, and I will use this. He said, the same thing you're struggling with, if you take that thing and put it in someone else's hands, it will succeed, most likely. It just depends on who is running it. So what I would say is gather knowledge for yourself, improve yourself. You might seem as though you're struggling, you just don't know any better. So my last words to you today, go for knowledge.
Go for knowledge. Yes, Rita, your last word.
Most recently, I've been receiving lots of emails from young people who are anxious, extremely anxious. And it could be very overwhelming. And they have every reason to be. A lot of people didn't get to be children because they had to grow up really fast. So the hustle started really early and they really didn't develop because play helps young people develop. Play helps everyone develop across life, right? What do I mean? Because that helps them imagine, right? And it helps them, encourages them to exercise their muscles, to imagine what's possible so they don't get stuck. Because there's a tendency to want to handle problems that can be managed one step at a time and through envisioning what the possibilities are. So my word for you is exercise your imagination so you can get unstuck from the inherited systems that have weighed you down, and so that you can imagine new possibilities for whatever industry or whatever life throws at you. Thank you.
Awesome. Imagine. Just imagine. Now, the money man.
I'm going to give you instructions, and maybe because I like the 10 commandments. 1, thank Impact Hub for giving you for free this, go and thank them. Do you understand? I know why I'm saying so, because a lot of people monetize it. That's the truth. A lot of people monetize it. 2, which is very, somebody say no, so. Two, which is very important, right, is that do not sleep on what you have heard. Go home, open the book, even if you don't know how, look at it. Some of you are excited now. This word touched me. That hasn't changed nothing. Go home and ask, what have I really learned and what would I implement? Number three, follow these guys, right? There's so much I learned without meeting people from them, right? Follow them, understand why they do what they do and how they do what they do. Then of course, the final thing is still back to what she said. See, there's no knowledge that is wasted. If I tell you, oh, what did I study? You think I studied something tech or something because I've done tech company, I've been cultural. I said, no. I studied agricultural economics for BSc and MSc. And I've led tech companies in USA. Then the final thing is always value people. I would say this consistently, value people, not because of their social class or what they have in their pocket. Value people. The person that opens certain doors to me, that person, quote unquote, you say is just another person, but that person opens certain doors. So don't do the Nigerian thing where you see somebody that doesn't look like it.
Classism.
Yes, classism. Don't let it sit in your head. Value and treat everyone well. And if you do these 5 things and it doesn't work, look for the owner of Impact Hub.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been an engaging session with all 3 of you. I've learned a lot from all of you, and I'm sure everyone here has got one thing or the other. We're going to take group photograph. Oh, okay, you have, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the picture. Dami, you can take the picture, just a panelist. Yeah, and then we just while we wait for post post for LinkedIn. Okay, thank you very much again for Foye. Thank you, Mr. Joledo. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Rita. Okay, it's really interesting because I start here. I'm just hearing those words. I'm like, okay. So I'm not really. I'm really very happy that you've shared. The beautiful thing is, I say I'm just right behind here, ensuring that we. Because what you have shared, the time you have given to us, we are very grateful for it. And then the beautiful thing is that it doesn't stop with these 30, 40 people in this room. We're going to streaming live, but we're going to rehead it and have a full 1 hour conversation on YouTube. And when that link is for us, this shouldn't just, we are being enabled by technology to be able to keep it, and anybody and everybody go back and access this information beyond today. So again, thank you very much for indulging us. Always reach out again to try to see how we can. And to all of our guests as well, we didn't, because we're way behind time, we didn't talk so much about entrepreneurs of all kinds. So basically, just to recap again, entrepreneurs of every kind is just once in a month we want to gather here, bring in entrepreneurs doing different things. That this month now, last month we're talking about women and all of that. This month now we're talking about social good and social entrepreneurship, and next month is always different things. So you can, I think there's a QR code we sent to you that if you want to join the community, join the WhatsApp group so I can get information and continue to be part of the ecosystem. But our goal here is to curate opportunity to continue to create that community where people can continue to, and we are very basic in what we're trying to do. We're targeting emerging at the very, because that's the toughest. I mean, I was glad about the question around scaling, and the responses to those questions were just very all the 4 of you have done really good work, and thank you very much again, and thank you everybody for joining us. We'll have refreshment afterwards. We can take a good picture and then take contact, network, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Again, yeah.
Okay, so I think who do we give the microphones to? Okay.
Maybe we can. We just bring your seats, so you can sit, so people can stand. It's easier, so you can have more. Bring your seat.
Okay.
Hi guys, please come. You can stand. Please come and join the picture.
This is surprisingly heavy.
Yeah.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
enjoyed. I learned a lot. I was also actively reminded from what you shared, and I've actually followed your work before now. Yes. Life, social good fun. I know, Sarah. Because yes. I've actually been at social. Yes, I've actually. So it's very interesting.
Thank you so much. I'm extremely
I was already
I need both.
Of course. I was definitely.
Thank you.
No, let me just. No worries. Let me just give you my number. Please, can you call me? What's your name, please? Huh? Abdul. Okay, please, can you just call me so that I. Thank you very much. Please. No worries at all. Thank you so much. Sarah is my name. Yes. No problem. No problem.
Thank you so much for such an impactful
Thank you. Please, I don't want to lose your contacts.
Absolutely.
Wait. Okay.
I started seeing something similar like what you're doing, but it's different. So I've been following your social media.
You know me on social media. I'm a celeb. Oh, people are hearing what I'm saying.
Don't forget my health.